Welcome to another Top 5 Friday. Look, confession time, I don't know if I've ever made this video before. I'm not sure, I'm too lazy to look. Even if I had, there are gonna be games on this list that weren't there on that previous list if I had made that video, or this video. Because I just literally found out that they were rare, which inspired me to make this video in the first place. Hey, let's just get right to it. I'll cue the ridiculous theme song that everybody universally loves. But before I do that, did you know that 2 out of 3 men are gonna experience some sort of hair loss before they reach the age of 35? Look at me, my forehead is bigger and it's not because of my huge brain. This video is sponsored by Keeps. So what is Keeps anyway? Well, it's a way for you to stop that hair loss and improve your hair growth. And they do this with clinically proven and thoroughly researched treatments. Now these treatments are actually recommended by doctors. But the thing is, you don't even have to go to a doctor or even a pharmacy for that matter to get them. They are sent right to your doorstep. So it's so easy to get this expert care. And the icing on the cake, it's about half the cost of going to a traditional pharmacy. And the support is amazing, 24/7, free messaging for a year. Any medical advice that you may have, you'll be able to talk to your prescribing doctor. So they go out of the way to make sure that you are supported during this entire process. And not only are their treatments clinically proven, if you just want to thicken your hair, their shampoo and conditioner thickening combo has actually won awards. And it's okay if you don't exactly know what you need to get or what you need to do, because Keeps Doctors absolutely has you covered. Hair loss stops with Keeps. Now, if you want to get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/gamechasers. That's right, keeps.com/gamechasers. Or you can click the link in the description below, that's even easier. And hey, after this, you won't have to clean as much hair out of the drain when you take a shower, right? Roll the video! It's kind of hard to quantify what constitutes a rare game. Some of those on this list, some of them might not even consider rare, but it is what it is. These are the rarest I guess I have in my collection. You're not gonna see a few games that maybe you might think would be on here, such as Little Samson, because I no longer have that in my collection. That was a game that I sold to help fund the movie. It was right before filming and we needed a little extra to put towards a camera rental. I know that if I had not said this right now, people would be asking in the comments, where's Little Samson? Number 5, it's Action 52. Now this was a gift from Jason. You saw it on an episode and it really pissed off Scott. But this game blows. 52 action-packed games and not one of them are worth playing. It's still a collector's item. If you're into Nintendo, if you're into getting a complete collection, which I'm not at this point, I'm not even considering or even want to get a complete Nintendo collection, NES collection. Maybe that's a video for the future or whatever, because I actually have a lot to say about that. I've pared down my collection. Definitely not gonna sell it because this was a gift from Jason, even though he said I could. I'm not going to. I'm always gonna keep this in my collection just because it helps you really appreciate the really, well, just even the mediocre games on the NES, because this is so horrible. But yeah, it's kind of rarish, and it's definitely one of the rarest in my collection. Okay, so the next one on the list, now keep in mind also that this is all just random order. I don't know that this is less rare than the next one or the number 1 is the most rarest. Who knows? This is all just random order. But number 4 on the list here is Super 3D Noah's Ark. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the only unlicensed game on the Super Nintendo that I'm aware of. So this was made by Wisdom Tree. This is Wolfenstein with a Bible theme. I believe that the story goes that the people that made Wolfenstein 3D, they got ticked off at Nintendo, so they gave Wisdom Tree the code for the game. And I think it has something to do with Nintendo censoring the game. This is Wolfenstein, but it's been replaced by Noah on the Ark, and he's shooting animals with a slingshot. The sprites have been changed in it. The way you're able to play this is you have to get past the lockout chip on the Super Nintendo. And how they did that was, well, there's a little place right here on the top that you can insert a regular Super Nintendo game. So you put this into your Super Nintendo, you put a regular Super Nintendo game on top of it, it gets past the lockout chip, and you're able to play this wonderful Well, I don't know why you'd want to play it, but you can at that point. Found this at a flea market, actually, Trader's Village. Found this for $7, I believe. And it was while we were doing Game Chasers. Unfortunately, it was a day that I had gone out just because I was bored. We didn't have any cameraman or anything. We weren't filming. I just happened to be in the area, wanted to stop by. And I found this, and it sucks because I wish it had been on camera because it'd be another cool find for the show. All right, the next one on the list is this right here. This is SpiderMan. Now, for those of you who ever played SpiderMan versus Kingpin on the Genesis, this game pretty much is that. It's a port of that. Now the levels have been changed. There's differences. It's not a straight port of that particular game. Now, why is this so rare? Well, because this was released in Europe. This is actually one of the final official release games on the Master System in North America. So what ended up happening was they released this game in the PAL regions. Now, the Master System actually is region free, but they wanted to release this in North America after it had been released in the PAL regions. So instead of just remanufacturing boxes and all that stuff, they just took the stuff that they had and they shipped it to North America in limited quantities, just a few, just to sell a few extra copies. And what they ended up doing was slapping a UPC sticker right on the back of the box here. This is what makes it rare, is this little sticker right here, because this is actually an official North American release, which there are not many of them. Last time I checked, it goes for like $300 or so or whatever. And I'm really considering selling it because I'm not a fan of the game. The game kind of sucks in my opinion, and it's just collecting dust, and I could use it to pay for gas. There were actually a few other games that Sega did that as well with. Sonic is one of them, and a couple of others, I forget what it is. But yeah, if you find that little sticker on the back and it's a Sonic game or the Spider-Man game, you have something kind of rare. And I wanted to talk about this because I literally just found out about it. I didn't even know. I was on my shelf looking at my Master System games, and I'm like, oh, this has a little sticker on the back. And I'm like, wait a minute, doesn't that mean it's like rare or something? All right, so you knew this game was gonna be on the list if you've watched the show. And of course, it's gotta be Flint Stones. This is probably my most rarest, but well, actually, I don't know. Like, it's so hard to tell. But I wanted number one to be a surprise. And I knew if I left this for number one, everyone would know what it is and they'd kind of tune out. But Flint Stones, Surprise at Dinosaur Peak, this is essentially, well, it is Flint Stones 2 on the NES. And I found this on an episode of Game Chasers Season 1, long last time ago. What ended up happening, for those of you who have never watched an episode of the Game Chasers or that particular episode, I was at Game Exchange, and this was just on the shelf with all the normal common games. And this was about 10 years ago. And what ended up happening is that they thought that this was the first Flintstones game, which at the time was like $4 or $5 and not rare, and still isn't rare. And they labeled it as that. And so it got put on the shelf with the regular stuff. Don't know how long it was there. In fact, it's funny because that happened to a couple of other people. There was somebody in Arkansas that the exact same thing happened to because it was in the system as that. It wasn't just a goof at that particular store. It was in all of them. So this had happened at several other stores as well. Just didn't happen to be in the right place at the right time. As many times as we've been out, just on camera and off camera, you're gonna get lucky. Well, at least in those days. All right, so number one on the list, I honestly don't know if this is quote unquote my rarest game, but it is pretty rare. You're gonna be like, what? Super Mario World. Yes. Now, there's a catch. It's not the game itself that is rare, it is the box. Because as you can see, this is a standalone box for Super Mario World, and it's not the Greatest Hits edition. So the Greatest Hits edition, obviously that's pretty somewhat common. This one is not. This is not common at all. I don't even know a lot about it. Like, I don't even know the story behind it. Now, how I ended up coming across this in the first place was some lot that I had gotten. And this was early on in collecting. This was early 2000 7, 8, somewhere around that time. And you know, back then you just bought lots of video games. It was so easy. Somebody had a bunch of Nintendo games in the closet and they're like, yeah, here, have it all, $50, $40, just take it away. And you just do that again and again and again. And back then it was so easy. Like 80 to 90% of my collection that I have right now is from that. And then you would end up selling the extras that you don't need, or the duplicates that you inevitably always got, and that would fund the next lot. Well, this was in one of them. For as long as I've been collecting, I didn't think anything of it. This has just been on my shelf with all my other Super Nintendo boxes. I just thought it was awesome. Like, Super Mario Brothers is just an amazing game, and it's actually got the game inside. Like, I have the game loose, and that's the one I play. But this is just like decoration on the shelf because, I mean, what else are you gonna do with a freaking game box other than just put it on the shelf? Whenever the Super Nintendo came out, it was packed in with Super Mario World. So 99% of the people out there that had the game had it because it came with the Super Nintendo itself. It didn't have a box. It just came in the actual system box, the cart. So I don't know when or where this was sold. No idea. Maybe I should have researched it before making this video. Obviously, when the greatest hits came out, that's a different story. But yeah, this was like, who bought a Super Nintendo and didn't have Super Mario World when it first came out and then had to go get this? I don't understand it. But anyway, that's why there's not a lot of them out there. And this one's pretty rare. I said that really weird just then. This is another item like I'm considering selling. As awesome as this is, like, I have no nostalgic attachment to the box itself. The game, yes, of course, and no, I'm not gonna sell the actual loose card that I have, but the box, if somebody's willing to pay $900 for this, I could use that money for getting like all the other boxes that I want upgrades on, like UN Squadron and Castlevania. No, I already got that one. Contra 3. This doesn't really mean much to me. It's cool. I'd love to keep it, but man, I could get like Contra 3, an upgrade for my box, and pay for gas. Hey, I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm definitely thinking about it. I just got through selling this copy of Super Mario World to Jesse here. So what's with you in this game?
Well, you know, my entire life, like, there's very few games that actually mean a lot to me, and this is one of them. Funny enough, in the last year during COVID, I've actually bought this game 3 times, each one of better quality. So this is actually about as mint as I've ever seen it. This is gonna go be proudly displayed on my shelf. Like, this is like my childhood, right?
Anyway, that's my rare. Anyway, that's my top 5 rarest stuff, games. That's the video.